Hi everyone, my name is Casey Cragen, and this is my NFL salary summary presentation. So let's get started. So first I want to start off by discussing the NFL gatekeepers, the decision makers. So based off of this data set, we can see it's based on the different categories of race, and that there's a total of 191 gatekeepers in this data that's recorded. So we can see that there's Hispanic, African American or Black, white, two or more different races, and Pakistani Americans. So based on this set right here, we can see that 1.6% is Hispanic, 17.2% is African American or Black, around 79-80% make up white. Two or more races is 0.5%, 1%, and then Pakistani and American makes up 0.5%. So just, basing it off of this data set that we have right here, we can see that white is predominant in this category. It makes up a large percentage, which is 79%. So moving on, we're going to discuss the 6 positions of the NFL, the gatekeepers rather. We have the owners, the general managers, the head coaches, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, and quarterback coaches. So again, based on this data set, we can see that the category in white is predominantly highest. We have anywhere ranging between 93% to 85%, 87%. So again, it's predominantly white. When it comes to the decision makers in all categories. One category we can see in the defensive coordinator that they have the most representation of African American or Black decision makers. We also found that many of the defensive coordinators were former players, so you have to wonder if that's why they were put into those positions. It seems like a lot of these positions are for either former players or especially the predominant white, and that they were either grandfathered in or that they've have tenure in the league and that they are almost guaranteed these positions. So moving on, we're going to discuss quarterback salary data. So based on this t-test, we can see that that an average of 45 million is the average salary for white European quarterbacks between 2011 and 2022. And then if we look at a person of color quarterback, they're around 44 million as an average between those couple of years. We can see overall that the significance of the p-value is not significant because it is larger than 0.05. It's coming in at 0.963. And we can also see that over the last couple of years, between 2011 and 2022, that there really isn't any data that's going to be significant. I'm just going to move myself out of the way. But as we had discussed, that around 2018, that was the only year that was somewhat close to being significant, while the rest were insignificant. So now moving on to player efficiency, this t-test tells us that white quarterbacks are playing slightly better than quarterbacks of color. Again, the p-value of this t-test is going to be insignificant when comparing the differences between the performance efficiency of white and colored quarterbacks. We can see that the p-value of 179 is greater or larger than 0.05. Therefore, it's going to be insignificant and not significant when it comes to an overall p-value. So I think generally we can see through the player efficiency, salaries, and coaches, or even not just coaches, but NFL gatekeepers, that it is predominantly white, and that a great deal of it is insignificant because their p-value is going to be less than the 0.05. So this is where I'm going to wrap up. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and happy holidays.